Dana White has once again announced that he's getting into boxing. This time, he's promised an early 2025 announcement to tell us what he has planned, which just so happens to be the same exact time that Saudi Arabia's Turki Alalshikh is planning on announcing what he has dubbed a boxing super league. But what is this league gonna be? Who are the key players involved? Well, to answer that, we need to take a look back. That way we can try to see forward through the fog to see where we're going. After years of being the two main promotions in town, Top Rank, headed by Bob Arum, and Golden Boy, headed by Oscar De La Hoya, were facing a new and growing threat from Premier Championship Boxing, headed by Al Heyman. The reason for this is that fighters were not being managed by promoters that had their best interest in mind and cost fighters large portions of their purses they could have made. Al Heyman basically publicly flaunts that he breaks this law by being both a promoter and a boxing advisor. You got that right. The entire loophole is that he's not technically a manager for the over 200 fighters he has under contract. He is just the person that advises the fighter on which deals to sign, which fights to take, and which promotion to work for. Actually, that doesn't sound much different than what a manager does. Arum and De La Hoya also didn't see the difference, suing Heyman for $100 and $300 million respectfully for breaking the Ali Act. However, in 2016, Heyman settled with Arum out of court while rumors swirled about a second Mayweather-Pacquiao fight, which they both respectively managed, and De La Hoya lawsuit was thrown out. A big reason why it was thrown out was because Heyman and the PBC actually paid their fighters higher fight purses on average than both Top Rank and Golden Boy. With the entire reason for the Ali Act being to make sure fighters aren't underpaid, the judge made it very clear that there isn't an issue as long as you're willing to pay top dollar for the boxers under your employ. The next year, in 2017, Dana suddenly decides that he's going to be the cure for all of boxing's ills. He announces Zuffa Boxing, with plans to dominate the boxing world with the same model that the UFC uses. The way he sees it was, the best just don't fight the best in boxing. All of these promoters are paying top dollars for these fighters and aren't willing to risk their investment, so marquee fighters end up avoiding each other while facing uninteresting contenders on shallow cards. Dana decides that he needs a big name to make a big splash into the boxing world, and the main name that kept being floated around to the point that there was said to be a lucrative offer from the UFC was British gold medalist and heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua, who was fresh off a knockout victory over Vladimir Klitschko. Anthony Joshua, who was at the time and is still managed by Matchroom Boxing, and who was ran by Eddie Hearn and his father. Now, Dana wasn't able to figure out how to make boxing work the way he wanted to at this time, and soon abandoned Zuffa Boxing. But he seemed to have hit it off with Eddie Hearn during this time. Through his expansion into different markets and becoming the face of the promotion, he was able to grow Matchroom into one of the top promotions in the entire sport. The way Dana and Eddie talked about each other was interesting enough that rumblings started that the UFC may be looking to acquire a boxing promoter if they want to start their own promotion. Fast forward a few years, and Endeavor, who bought the UFC and Zuffa, also buys the WWE and combines the two into a company that is called the TKO Group. During an interview with Ariel Helwani, Hearn says that it would only make sense for Endeavor to continue their expansion into combat sports by adding boxing to their MMA and wrestling offerings, and if they were to do anything like that, Matchroom would be the promotion that would make the most sense for them to acquire. One of the things that seems to have given Dana some pause when it comes to entering the boxing world is what he called boxing's going out of business style approach, where the top fighters get the vast majority of the money, leaving a small piece of pie for the promotion and any money that could go back into future investments into the business and the sport. That all seems to have changed with the introduction of Turki Alalshikh. Suddenly, huge fights that never would have happened or happened far past the sell-by date were being made fast and coming one after another. He has also brokered great relationships between himself and 4 of the 5 main boxing promotions. He got Matchroom in Queensbury to put on a co-promoted event. And with Arum getting up there in age, open questions are being asked about what will happen to his promotion once he's gone. He even has a great relationship with Oscar and has been trying to broker peace between him and Dana, which doesn't sound like it's going the best. Outside of the PBC, Turkey has the ability to bring together 4 of the top promotions under one roof and create a super league. Each division only has 1 champion and all the top boxers face all the other top boxers. With the timing of Dana's announcement and Turkey's announcement seemingly at the same time and their shared interest in the boxing world, the safe bet is that they're joining forces to create this super league, which could either be under the UFC and Endeavor portfolio or a type of co-promotion with the Saudi government, which would cause its own unique issues. Dana doesn't seem keen to work with De La Hoya, whose promotion is the weakest of the 4 that would be talked about for this Super League. So that really wouldn't be the worst exclusion. But from the way Oscar was talking about talking business with Dana at the Sphere, it seems he's very keen on being part of this process. So there you have it. In 2025, it looks like the landscape of boxing may be officially changing. Endeavor could soon own the UFC, WWE, and 4 of the top boxing promotions. Obviously, there could be a challenge to this monopolistic practice, but this seems to be one of the smaller issues here. The main issue with that is boxers making less. But with Saudi Arabia bankrolling this, that won't really be a concern. It just might be our new reality come 2025. Saudi Arabia willing to bankroll the biggest fights and all of the up-and-coming fighters knowing that they'd have to sign to this league in order to get those paydays. This really could be Dana White's time to get into the boxing world for real this time.